Hey gorgeous, how's it going? My name's Victoria Tippett. I'm an international psychic medium and spirit-led empowerment mentor. What does that mean? That means that I have a connection to spirit, to source, to divine, whatever you want to call it. I call it spirit when we leave the earth plane and we go into the spiritual realm. So we're here today to give you an energy update of what is going to be happening of the week of the 30th of September. Can you believe we're at the end of the month already, or we're at the end of the month already? Now, this week is going to be incredibly amazing energetic wise, but before we get into that, if you want to come over and join me in my Facebook group, The Limitless Spiritual Woman, feel free to come over there. If you'd like to book yourself a one-to-one or any of the other offerings that I have, the links are below. Make sure to subscribe to this gorgeous channel as well. So, this week, we've just had the autumn equinox, and obviously if you are you're not in the northern hemisphere, we don't have the autumn one, but we have had the equinox nonetheless. Now this is something that is really brought along this beautiful energy that we've had more recently. There's been quite a lot of stagnation, but a lot of people saying to me, are you feeling this right now? Are you feeling this energy right now? Where it just, everything feels a little bit like it's been slightly more stagnated, but there's just this growth, this change that's happening. It's a very strange energy that's been going on at the minute, which I think is really empowering for us when we start to embrace that and feel like this is the energy that we can really hone into. When we can feel and sense that energetic shift of what is going on, what does that bring up? It just means that we get to be in every moment and being really aware of the energy around us and the energy of other people. So a lot of people who are not aware of energy are exuding interesting energy right now, and the rest of us are picking up on it basically. So this week is just this week where we can just start to think, right, we've got that out of the way now. Time for us to start just allowing things to shift forward. Now, this is about us clearing out whatever is no longer serving you. So whether this is your inbox, whether this is people in your life, whether this is you sort of thinking, I've got to this stage of the journey now, of this year, I need to start getting rid of things, whether this is physical things in your life, we need to just shed and clear out the clutter. So if it's people, if it's your diary, it's just jam-packed full, whatever it is, if it's not sparking joy, it needs to go. And so in every moment, be asking the question, I did that and that sparked joy, that was amazing. I did this and it sparked joy and that's amazing. If we're doing things that don't spark joy, that's what we need to start thinking, like, how can I create this so this is sparking joy for me? And how can I get rid of the things that don't spark joy for me? This is something that is so incredibly important for us when we're starting to make these shifts moving forward. So let's think about how we can create that this week, because one of the things that is going to be coming up for us is this feeling of, how do we move forward? How do we make the last quarter of this year really impactful? How do we make it count? How does that look? What does that feel like? We need to start surrendering, and this is surrendering to what is coming up for us. So surrendering to the process, surrendering to acknowledgement, acknowledging the things that are coming up for us. So how can we start to surrender to those thoughts, feelings and emotions that are coming up for us? And this is something that we really need to start honing in on, because right now the energetics that we're feeling are shifting, and we now need to pick the energetics that we can start to clear for ourselves. So that means we need to surrender to the process. So you might not be where you want to be right now, but you are certainly on the path to get there. So what does that look like? Because so often we have massive resistance, and if you've got resistance to having change, we need to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. So what is it today that you've done that was out of your comfort zone? What have you done today that's something totally different, that is moving you in the right direction, is moving the needle? So how are we going to surrender to that? What does that feel like? What does that look like? What is that going to be like for you as you move forward? So surrendering is going to be the biggest key for you. And so many of us have that resistance. You know, when kids fall over or they fall downstairs, they just kind of go with the energy of it. They just, fall, and they're like, they're sad, but they've not broken anything. Now, when we get older, we're so worried if we start to slip or anything, we're grabbing hold of things, and we tend to damage ourselves more because we've tried to resist that fall rather than going with the fall. Now, this is something that we all try to do. We try to resist certain things. We don't want to go with change. We don't want to start thinking about, I can't do this because this will upset this person, or I can't say this because it might do this to somebody. We need to be bringing this into our lives more. Like, how can we connect to ourselves? How can we really just see things in a way that is really powerful for us? Remembering this week that we need to start bringing in the signs and symbols from spirit. Now, spirit will give you lots of signs and symbols all of the time, And this might be, you might see someone's initials on a car registration plate, you might see feathers falling from the sky, you might see angel numbers, you might see hear a random bit of music that happens that just reminds you of the person that you are thinking of that is in spirit. So we're needing to really use that connection, use that energetics to understand that spirit are with us, they're guiding us, and they're supporting us. One of the things with this is, how do we co-create? How can we use that connection to live our best life? How can we literally surrender to the process so that we can use and harness this energetics from spirit so that we can move forward into the next part of our journey? So these things are all the building blocks of us having this a really powerful week where we're going to be starting to just shed the things that no longer serve us. When I work with people, one of the things that happens is they're like, I want to get rid of this block, or this thing's stopping me moving forward, or I feel like this. One of the things is that we are so full, we're so energetically full of old stuff in our lives, in our energetic field, okay? So working on your money blocks is really beautiful. Working on, imposter syndrome is really beautiful. But if you're not getting to the heart of that, if you're not getting to the nitty gritty of it and taking out that whole energetics, okay, we can activate all the things that we want to activate, but unless we are energetically removing those things as well, which is what I do with my clients, then we don't have space to put anything else in. And this is what we need to do this week, energetically shifting out lots of things that no longer serve us, so we have lots of space for us to bring in the things that we absolutely desire. So make sure you have the most amazing week. If you'd like to book anything in with me, then feel free to use the links below. Make sure to join my group, The Limitless Spiritual Woman. Have the most amazing week, and I'll see you next time.